Welcome to Behind the Schemes, where we get to figure out what makes people tick, how they motivate themselves, how they thrive and get through their days and just overcome all challenges of adversity and just win. I'm excited to have our next special guest. I'm your co-host, Danny Wright, here with my lovely mother, Kenice Middleton, who's going to introduce our star and get us going.
I'm so excited for us to be joined by Shanniah Wright, who is a student athlete at the Georgetown University, but who is also the founder of a wonderful nonprofit that's really about bringing love to children through mentorship. Okay, can we just so excited for her to be here because she's juggling that as a founder and working through her studies still in college. So want to hear more from you about how you navigate all these different roles, how you tick, what's your secret sauce, what's that special thing that you have that keeps you going.
Well, first, thank you guys for having me. It's lovely to be here. What makes me tick? Oh man, I don't even know. Well, first and foremost, I'm a basketball player.
All right.
So obviously I've got that kind of competitive edge in me if that was able to get me all the way to the D1 level. I'm kind of a perfectionist as well. Like I kind of want to be the best at everything. And no matter what I do, and if it is bringing love to my community, then I want to do that the best way possibly in order to impact the most people in the world. And Rose from Concrete is just a way that, me and my best friend, we both came up with the idea about how we want to, one, leave a legacy that goes like further than us, like way beyond what we could possibly bring, that will last lifetimes after I'm off this earth. And two, how we want to give back to our community in a holistic, not only just with education or other things like that, but in a holistic way.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. And to think about you being so young, relatively speaking, being in college, already thinking about your legacy and creating something that lives beyond you, makes me think about how we all have a foundation that creates that type of spirit within us. So from that same context, what is it that you bring from your childhood with you today when you play basketball and when you run your organization and when you're helping and mentoring kids?
I just bring my experiences. I think life is the best teacher you could possibly have. I grew up in a single mother household. So I had this strong Black woman that I had, the opportunity to see her persevere through poverty statistics. She had to keep me and my brother, one, away from the streets, which was just such a common thing that like was where we grew up. Keep us our head on straight in school, provide food for us, clothes on our back, and try to give us the most love that she could while doing all those things. And I never really truly understood it until I was older, but watching her navigate life in the way that she did obviously kind of just made me able to, one, be here where I am right now. Definitely wouldn't be here without my mom's. And two, she gave me all the necessary tools, like the ability to want to give back, to always want to help people. We're all kind of the same way. She kind of instilled all her values in me and my brother. So having those life experiences that she, pulled us through, what makes it easier to want to give back, to want to be a good teammate, to be respectful, like all these things, all these values that she's instilled in us has just made it like easy. She did all the hard work. I'm just like kind of
Man,
following through with what she
I know
said.
that. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Man, come on, did all the
I
hard
bet
work.
you do. I bet you do. You know
Hey,
what? Right. So shout out to your mama for setting it up for you, right? For she, like you said, she did the hard work so you can just, kind of figure it out and do the good thing that your heart tells you to do, which it sounds like you're doing with your nonprofit. Did you always have a goal to go to college to play basketball? What else would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Did you have another plan?
No.
That's it.
My mom, I didn't even know what college. My mom did not care what college we went to. She said that we
She's
was
like,
getting
you
out of
going.
our house and go to college. She didn't care what college it was. She goes, I don't care if you go to BMCC down the road. I want you guys in college. I don't care what you're doing. And that was one thing that she like instilled. I knew from young I was going to college because she went to college. You know, I think she got her master's. I might be wrong. She wouldn't be able to correct me when she watched this. But she got her master's at NYU with me and my brother being born. So she had 2 kids, mom, like pulling through with a master's in social work.
Okay, mama.
She already knew.
Georgetown isn't like a bad bar.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, she knew we was going to college. I don't even know what I would be doing. Basketball, I've been playing basketball since I was a kid. So it was just, I always knew I was going to college and I always knew I was going to play basketball. I didn't know where I was going to play basketball at. Didn't really care. I just knew that I was going to college. I was getting out in Brooklyn and I was going to play ball while I was doing it.
Wow. Shout out again to mama.
Man, that is something phenomenal. So I guess knowing, you know, the route that you went and understanding, you know, obviously your mom laid the foundation for you, but you've had to grind yourself being from the community that you've been from, you know, playing basketball, playing sports. What advice would you give your younger self knowing all that you know up to this point?
Oh, it's tough. There's just so much stuff I would probably give my younger self. Oh man, I think I went to prep school, and I think prep school where 95% of the kids were white and rich. So I think that that kind of opened my eyes to seeing disparities that, you know, this class has towards the lower class. There are things here sometimes. I remember I was walking up on Prospect Street and I laid eyes on a Rolls Royce, one of those like very nice cars. And I remember stopping with one of my teammates and I was like, I have never seen one of these in person before. And it was like, she's white. So she was like, what? Why? You never seen one of these? I was like, I've never seen this car in person before. So I think like just some advice I'd probably give to my young self would just be like, stay true to yourself, you know, whatever that is in that time, because, you know, we're always constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. And whoever I was from 8th to 12th grade in that, you know, that very hard place, being, you know, predominantly white, you know, having racist administration and like just having microaggressions being thrown at your way. You know, a lot of people, I'm only in the school because of basketball, I'm not smart enough to do this, I'm not smart enough to do that. Kind of really laid my foundation of realizing that one, race is a thing. Didn't really understand that. All I knew was Black people from where I was from, like race is a real thing and people actually really think less of you just because you have a darker skin color.
Yeah.
And 2, that like people will underestimate me for kind of just because of my history, where I come from, you know, what I haven't proved. Like there will always be somebody underestimating me. So I would definitely just give the advice to be and staying true to myself, like wherever that may be and whenever that may be, and not letting external forces dictate that, you know, just kind of, because I'm not gonna say I know myself from 21, I definitely don't know who I am. But even when I was 14, 15, 16, whatever, I had an idea of who I wanted to be. So it was just kind of staying true to those, you know, principles and not letting external things penetrate that bubble.
I love that. I love that. You gave us advice that you give to your younger self that people can adopt today. And you really talked about overcoming, you know, kind of internal and external factors and how it got you through. What would you say is sort of and I know, I mean, you're a young person with, I think, such a strong spirit. What would you say right now that you feel has been your best skill or your greatest skill that's really gotten you through? You know, when you think about the business world that you're navigating, because basketball is business, school is business, your nonprofit is business. So what would you say is that best skill you have that helps you navigate?
I think the fact that I'm I'm a grinder. Like, you know, I got it out the mud is what I
All
like.
right, all right.
I think that I don't take no for an answer. Danny taught me that when I was young.
He does not.
Freshman in, I was freshman in college. Just finding a way to get a yes is kind of what I do. And I'm very outspoken as well. Like, you know, I kind of know I don't like sit around when I feel something is wrong. I have to speak up. I have to say something. It goes within school, you know, whatever that may be. If I feel something's wrong, I always speak up about it. My mama didn't raise no punk. So I was just like, if I have to, you know, say something in order to navigate and kind of take the consequences as they come, I think that one helps definitely in nonprofit work because I'm speaking up against an injustice. I feel like that has plagued our community for as long as I can remember, as long as anyone can remember, really. The lack of love that, you know, African Americans, Black people in general feel for themselves, not only, but, you know, the people around them, our communities, has just been something that, you know, I'm reading this book called Salvation by Bell Hooks. And she
I love Bell Hooks.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
my favorite.
So good. She's like my favorite author.
Oh, she's just so phenomenal. Oh my God.
But yeah, she's talking about how like the movements have like lack of love in them, and just about how like Black like militarization and stuff like that is all about being strong and being tough, but we've moved away from not having love in our lives to having to survive. I think it's something we all can relate to, whether it being an external Black Lives Matter or whether it just being, you know, personal within ourselves. And I think that's like a problem anyone could speak of. So the fact that, you know, I want to speak out against this injustice, I feel like is huge. It's the same thing on the basketball court. I'm a junior now, so I'm more of a leader on my team. So I have to speak out to the freshmen who don't know really anything about anything.
Right.
In my life, the same way.
I love it. And on this show, we call it being a truth teller. And it sounds like you are a truth teller. So I want to real quick before, you know, we wrap things up, because we want to give you time to, you know, tell people where they can find you, you know, where they can find your company, all that good stuff. But real quick, you know, you spoke a lot about injustices, about speaking up, you know, to injustice and kind of overcoming, you know, adversity in a multitude of different ways. What do you say about the haters and how do you deal with them?
That's hard because I'm a strong believer in not even giving energy to people who are like determined to misunderstand me and my mission. You know, and that's something I've had to learn because not everything warrants a conversation and not everything warrants a talk back and a discussion. And I really don't have to say anything to haters. I feel like my actions and my resume speaks for itself. Not many kids from where I'm from are going to Georgetown University, about to graduate with a degree. Not many kids from where I'm from playing basketball at D1 level. Not many kids where I'm from have the mindset that I have the thoughts that I have, can speak the way I speak. So, you know, I just really don't, I feel like I don't really even need to say nothing. I just kind of let my resume speak for itself. And now that's literally
it. Like silence.
Right. Well, I want to say again, shout out to your mother because I feel her. I feel her presence. Mama did good. Mama did good. So before we go, I want to make sure, like Daniel said, we want to make sure people can find you. But before we do, I want to shed a little bit more light on your nonprofit, who you help, and it's based in DC, right?
So right now with COVID, it's
virtual.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about it, where people can find you, and if they want to help, if you'd like help, whatever it is that you need, please say it so we make sure people can hear that from you.
100%. So like we said before, RFC, Rose from Concrete, is a nonprofit organization rooted in reteaching love as a radical practice to youth. And we say radical because it's uncool to love yourself right now. It's uncool to love others, and it's uncool to love your community. And the thought of how America, the world, has betrayed our youth is just that we are unlovable, and there's so many ways that we can navigate that. So we really focus on reteaching love as a radical principle, and we do that through mentorship and guidance and teachings and discussions and learning. And we try to apply love to places where it lacks, whether it be in the classroom, family-wise, anywhere along that lines. Our mentors are trained to be able to, one, help youth be able to grow, as well as their growth. I often find mentorship is more fulfilling for the mentors than it is for the mentees, as well as helping the families around them, because we feel that we can't teach a young person love and then put them into a loveless community or a loveless household, or et cetera, et cetera. So we really try to provide a holistic care of funneling resources back to the community. So right now, a lot of our been building up has been trying to find partners who can lend time, energy, money to these young people and their families, whether it be therapists who can lend 2 hours a week, or whether it be lawyers who can send pro bono time, donations, etc. We want to be able to offer resources to our mentees and their families and our mentors to be able to funnel love as kind of like a continuous cycle. And how we do it is we have a 3-year pillar process, and the first year is all about self-love, because you can't love anything and anyone if you don't love yourself. And actually not only learning about self-love, but practicing it in real time, so that, one, you're developing the tools and whatever that self-love practice may be, like journaling, yoga, meditation, running, exercise, sleeping, showering, it just looks different for everyone. Kind of accepting what that is for yourself and being able to practice it. And then also learning about yourself and learning what you need and what's good for you and what's not good for you. And I think that's very important for our youth to kind of, figure that out. And then 2, it just, year 2, it kind of keeps going. It's like just connects. So year 2 is interpersonal love. So just how to navigate relationships. I think we can all probably say we've been in like negative spaces, relationships with people, partners, family members, whatever. And just kind of navigating that space and what that looks like, not only what it looks like to give love to another person, but what it looks like to receive healthy love back to yourself. Because I think we could get like confused, misinterpret toxic love for just love. And then that all goes back to myself, because I've already set the standards of what type of love I'm giving myself. Anyone who's not meeting that standards, got to go. So that's really kind of just keep building on that. And then year 3 is kind of community love. And just kind of, finding a community project to be able to work on and kind of build. And then we kind of give them the option, if they want to pursue an entrepreneurial route, they can, develop an idea, be able to show it back to us. And then we would be able to give money and stuff like that for them to be able to implement their idea back into the community. So it's kind of like a continuous cycle. Yeah. And, they always have a job and stuff, like internships to work with us, etc. That's like kind of the structure, the kind of plan idea that we have. Any way people can help is just kind of what I've been saying. If you want to lend time, energy, money, know someone who has resources somewhere, partnerships somewhere. It's a community thing. I think that's kind of what makes it more kind of a mutual aid kind of thing, more so than any type of business or anything. It's more of a community kind of venture that we're trying to break and kind of revolutionize with the world. You can find us on Instagram at RFC_DC. My Instagram is at Shanniah Wright. DMs are always open to talk, whatever, kind of figure out ways people can help in any way possible. But there's always a spot for anyone here that wants to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing of yourself. Thank you for doing this good work. It's necessary. I mean, we don't hear very many people talk about the love aspect and how important that is. after dealing with trauma, drama, and all the other things that happen in life. So thank you for recognizing the importance of that and starting with young people to help them through that so they can become, you know, the adult example that you're setting. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here with us today. We really appreciate you.
Oh,
Awesome. Thanks, Shanniah.
thank you guys for having me.
Of course.